I used to think happiness was something that I had to earn. Not feel, earn. Through perfect grades, through big achievements, through always being the best in the room. But no matter how much I achieved, it never felt like enough to satisfy me for a long time. That's when I decided it was time to take a step back and appreciate all the opportunities present in my life. Eventually, I started to understand that in order to feel happy, I had to take a moment and look around me and be grateful for every person that stands by me, for every goal that I'm able to achieve, and for the growth that I'm able to make through my personality and shift in mindset. Nowadays, we're being taught to measure our worth through results. Grades, rankings, achievements. Somewhere along the way, we started believing that second place means failure and the rest means weakness. Often, we hear that students are burnt out or feeling anxious about sitting for their exams. But what these students don't realize is that this constant self-degradation is the cause of their burnout, anxiety, and lack of happiness. So what truly is happiness to you? For me, I'm happiest when I'm around my friends and family, doing the things I love and taking care of myself. Most importantly, these are the things that are not found on a university or work resume and bring uttermost joy to my life. In order to find this level of contentment with the simple things that life has to offer, takes a lot of mental practice and patience that many people do not have. This is why they would rather show their success through physical achievements that indicate how they must be happy and proud of themselves instead of finding their own inner peace and mental stability. On the other hand, I believe that working really hard to prioritize my future is a major goal in my life. However, my contentment has allowed me the freedom of finding a balance between my productivity and self-care, which has helped me realize that finding a balance is the most important part to achieving happiness, and is the part that is so often forgotten. This balance is what drives motivation, discipline, and self-control, and will help you realize times that need focus from times that you can spend relaxing and pursuing your hobbies. Even in the workplace, people are starting to realize something surprising. Rest isn't a distraction from productivity. It actually fuels it. CEOs are now being advised to encourage their workers to take longer breaks during their time at work. Similarly, rest and relaxation spark creativity. This is why a person is most creative after taking long breaks. But what is the science behind all of this? Why do we feel the need to constantly have to prove that we are worthy of our happiness? There's this psychological idea called the hedonic treadmill. It means that no matter how much you achieve in your life, your brain has the ability to adapt quickly and starts wanting more. And so you keep running to your next achievement, but you feel like you've never arrived. This is because success can actually be seen as an addiction in this case, which, like many other addictions, can be very harmful for an individual. We often grow up believing that success is straightforward. Study hard, get the grade, win the award, move on to the next goal. But the truth is, success is far more complicated than this. And if we don't truly understand it, it can end up harming our mental health. Think about the first time you achieved something big. Maybe it was acing a test, winning an award, or even something as small as just getting recognized for your work. In that moment, you feel unstoppable, proud, energized, like you're floating. This is because your brain gives you random bursts of pleasure, a natural high. But here's the catch. This feeling doesn't last forever. For some, it fades in hours, for others, in days or weeks. And when it's gone, you're left chasing the next achievement, desperate to feel that rush again. I remember walking out of an exam that I'd studied weeks for. I got a high grade, but instead of feeling proud, I felt empty, like it wasn't enough. That made me drained and struggling to finish the school year strong. This was the first time that I started to wonder, are these small wins really worth the stress if they leave us feeling hollow afterwards? Something I experienced recently made me have a flashback moment. My close friend came up to me with tears in his eyes and told me that he didn't feel like enough because he always felt like the second option. Second in life, second in competitions, and second best friend for everyone. Hearing those words made me have genuine goosebumps because they made me think back to a time in my life that sounded so familiar. It made me realize that I'm not alone in life, and neither is he. That day, I told him that he had to find happiness within himself instead of chasing constant success that was setting him up for failure. This is why happiness is more important than finding success. Success is fleeting. Happiness is renewable. Success is a moment. Happiness is a lifestyle. And when you build your life around these small, meaningful moments, you start to understand that success feels sweeter. Not because it defines you, but because it adds to a happiness that you already have. Freeing from the cycle of constant success is not about following a checklist. It is about awareness. It is about realizing that you can rest and pursue your hobbies rather than chase constant success. For me, the turning point was realizing that joy doesn't only come in achievements. Joy comes in everything that makes me feel alive. The hobbies I lose myself in, the people I laugh with, and all the moments that don't need a grade or a certificate to matter. And for that reason, success is not as important as happiness. Because in the end, it comes down to this. What do you want your story to be? Do you want to be remembered only for your grades, your constant achievements, and your list of trophies? Or do you want to be remembered for the peace you carried, the joy you sparked, and the love you shared with the people around you? Because success fades, but the way you make others feel and the way you make yourself feel, that's what lasts. Thank you.